Hello class, let's look at week 11. What do we have on the agenda? Well, we have chapter 12 in your Tech in Action ebook. And with that, you have your audio PowerPoints and your study guide questions. Real critical, you work on the study guide questions, even for some of the prior weeks, because next week's quiz week, and you have quizzes on chapters 3, 7, 12, and 13. This week gets back to normal, which is one chapter in your Tech in Action book and one chapter in the application, which is Microsoft Excel. So let's go ahead and see what's in chapter 12. Let's open up my index sheet on that. So some of the objectives is, this is a little repeat from last week, because we're talking about networks and we're talking about security at the same time, and they kind of go together, but it was kind of a broad topic to do it all in one chapter, so the author split it into two. So you'll get a little repetition about learning on different types of networks, like peer-to-peer, where every computer is equal, there's no server, compared to maybe what you might see in a business organization, which is client server, where there's a server that manages the authentication of the users and maybe provides resources, like a file server and access to the internet and so forth. Different types of servers found for client servers, environments based on what they do, like I mentioned, file server or email server, things like that. Topology has to do with how networks are connected. Like, does every computer have a network cable or connection, like a star topology, or are they on the same line, like a bus topology that you might find on a manufacturing floor, where you've got more insulation with thick net, because all the machinery on a manufacturing floor generates electromagnetic interference, and that can be a problem with transmission, so a bus topology works better for that. But in office, a star topology or ring topology are things we see. The ring, not so often. That was kind of in the past. We'll learn about network adapters. We'll learn about the unique address, the MAC address of the network adapter. That comes into play when you're requesting information, for instance, on the internet, and the information is being retrieved and brought back to you. Well, Mr. Router needs to know what MAC address to send that information to on the address. If there's 20 or 30 computers on that network, how does it know? Well, your unique MAC address that helps it do that. Let's see, why network operating systems are necessary. Well, in the early days, we didn't have networks, and you wanted to share information, you put them way back then on a floppy disk. You had to walk it over to the person or mail it to them. That's no longer the case. So networks are beneficial, but along with it comes as challenges for security and so forth. That's what we're all discovering. So that is chapter 12, and then you have, let's see, we have another Saturday sharing extra credit. I think you'll find that helpful if you like extra credit. They're easy to do, something about what you learned this week or had a question about. And then let's do the application side now, and that's always on my IT lab, and we're doing the fourth and final chapter in Excel. So if I were to come here to week 11, I can see that here it is, chapter 4. You have a training and an assessment. Like always, the training has the learning aids, and it's, once you get to the chapter 4 in each of these applications, it gets a little more challenging. So make sure you use the free tutors if you need that help. So let me open up chapter 4 and see what's on the contents for that chapter. So you're learning about freezing rows and columns. Well, why would you do that? Well, perhaps you have a very wide spreadsheet that falls off the screen and you want to print the screen, but you don't want the information in the middle. You can kind of freeze it or hide it. You do page breaks, are kind of handy for printing also. Set a print area, learning how to do print titles, renaming spreadsheets, deleting rows. Let's see, removing duplicate rows, applying tabs to table styles. So that's kind of creative, and it's gotten more advanced. In the early days of Lotus 1, 2, 3, I don't remember doing many styles. So reference formulas, totaling rows, applying. Now this is very handy when you're starting to filter and apply filters to just drill into your data and find out specific information. I think you'll find that handy in doing queries also with that. Conditional formatting. Yeah, these are all really good skills. So I think you'll like it. I think you'll like it. So give yourself time, though, to make sure you really understand the concepts. Because, again, you know, Microsoft Excel is a very sought after talent and employees. So it's really important that you learn how to do this and use the tutors if you need them. So, all right, good luck. We'll see you on the net.